Hi there, everybody. This is Wendy Hernandez, and welcome back for another episode of the Family Law Insider podcast. Today I have with us Linda Hawkins, and Linda is an author and a speaker. She's the author of the Yes, Real Women book series, and she coaches people about having healthy lifestyles. And I really wanted to have Linda on today's show because as many people who are going through relationship issues and family law problems and in and out of court, sometimes their lifestyle just goes to pot. Um, and it's really important, I think, to maintain that lifestyle, especially when you're going through times of stress. So Linda, who teaches in this area and speaks in this area and has degrees in this area, is going to help us get there. So welcome, Linda, and thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Wendy. Thank you for inviting me today.
No problem. So, the first thing that comes to mind for me, Linda, when I'm going through a stressful time, oftentimes I turn to food and sometimes even drink. If I want to feel relaxed, I might have a beer or a glass of wine. And, how can a person tell when this reaches the maybe not so healthy level and they should take a step back?
Well, one of the things that I notice people do, and it's so common, is they become stress eaters. We have found that food soothes us, and food helps us to, like I say, concentrate on, or I should not have to concentrate on things that we don't want to have to think about. And so we just turn to eating foods. And usually it is high caloric foods. Anything that is not healthy for us is what we want. We want potato chips, and we want sugar, and we drink more because that's what our mind and our body is desiring. And so we do that. We allow our mind and our body to take control, and we eat these unhealthy foods.
So what can we do, because I recognize this personally when it's coming on. If I'm going through a stressful time at work, I want to eat, and I'm very aware of, I'm not really hungry, but I'm trying to satisfy some other need.
Right. And what I tell people is it's going to happen, so just be prepared. Have healthy foods and healthy snacks around.
Yeah.
Have your vegetables already cut up in the refrigerator. Have fruit cut up and have it in the refrigerator. When you take snacks to work, take healthy snacks. Take nuts, take trail mixes that are healthy. Take something that is going to satisfy the sweet taste as well as the salty taste, because you're going to be craving that. If you don't do that, you're going to go to the closest vending machine, and you're going to find the snack that is not healthy, because you have to have something.
Okay.
So you have to be prepared.
All right. So, how can a person, say that they just want to stop this turning to food altogether, and they recognize that they're doing it for just because they're stressed? I mean, is it okay, to eat to a certain extent because you are stressed, or at what point do we need to tell ourselves stop and I need to pay attention to what's going on inside, what I'm dealing with emotionally?
Right. Sometimes we do know that we are eating excessively. Because your pants start getting a little tighter, or you see a little bulge over your pants. So you do have some idea that is happening. So the question is, well, what do you do? Okay. I recommend for individuals who turn to eating to figure out something different for themselves, something that you enjoy doing. It could be doing crafts, working out, exercising, something that is going to give you that same feeling of satisfaction.
Okay.
So for some people, they have to do something with their hands. Some people have to do something with their mouth. So if it's an issue where you need to do something with your mouth, you may have to chew gum. You may have to eat certs. You may have to do something so that you have that satisfaction.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So now what about, the role of just your lifestyle, your overall lifestyle in terms of managing stress. How can that make a difference in a person's life?
How can it make a difference?
Yeah.
You manage the stress?
Yes.
Well, if you manage the stress, that's a good question. Give me an idea as to what you're looking for when you say what can you do differently if you manage the stress.
Well, so my question is somebody's dealing with a stressful time in their life, but maybe they're not living their life as optimally as they could. For example, maybe they're not getting enough sleep, maybe they're not eating the right foods, maybe they're not having the social interaction that they want. So, how big of an impact do those types of lifestyle choices have on our ability to manage stress in a healthy and effective way? Does that make more sense?
Okay, I think it does. It's going to have a major effect on you being able to handle your stress. And that's why I always recommend to people the mere fact of working out and exercising, because that's a main way you can manage the stress. It'll make you feel better. It allows you to sleep better at night, because if you don't get enough sleep, of course, that affects your stress level as well.
Yep.
When people don't feel good, they get sick often because they're not managing their stress.
Okay. Okay.
So, you need to look into eating healthier foods. That's going to decrease your stress level. Some people take vitamins to decrease the stress level. So you need to figure out different ways of handling it, because it's not just about eating. It's living a total healthy lifestyle. And healthy lifestyle has so many different facets to it.
Yep.
It's
okay.
not just about eating.
Okay. So I think, and this is maybe a good segue into a book that you've written that talks about your basics plan. BASICS.
Okay.
And to me, I haven't read the book, but I've read what BASICS stands for, and that, that kind of seems to me to be a good kind of guideline for people who are wanting to elevate their lifestyle. So can you talk to us about what the BASICS plan is and what it means?
Sure. I wanted to create something that would be simple and that I believe people should practice anyway, but it's something that we've gotten away from. So I created the BASICS plan. And BASICS stands for, the B is for behavioral change, because the first thing you have to do is you have to change your behavior. If you're not used to eating breakfast, for example, you have to start eating breakfast. If you're not used to eating healthy snacks, you have to start eating healthier snacks. So there's a lot that go along with that. Getting to bed earlier so you can get more rest, putting exercise into your daily routine, and so on. So that's your behavioral change.
Okay, and so like with the behavioral change, do you have any tips for people who want to make that change? I mean, I've heard that sometimes it takes 3 weeks or a month for a habit to change.
That's correct.
How can a person hold themselves accountable?
Okay. The two things you can do. One is create a list for yourself. What are some things that you want to be able to do throughout the day that you don't normally do? And I have a to-do list every single day. I know when I get up in the morning, I'm going to exercise. I'm going to meditate. So that's part of my plan. I do know that I have lunch, and I eat lunch at a certain time throughout the day. I have snack at a certain time throughout the day. And I have dinner, and you have to eat dinner, I say, before 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening, so that it has a chance to digest. So those are some things you have to do. The second thing is have an accountability partner. Have someone who you trust, who is close to you, who will say, okay, Wendy, you said you were going to stop drinking pop. You can't drink any more pop right now. Or Wendy, you said we were going to walk together. Let's walk. Yep. So you have to have someone who's going to help you. Okay?
Good.
Because sometimes it's hard to do those things by yourself.
Yes. Okay. Excellent. I love those tips. Thank you. So those are great things for starting a behavior change. So tell me tell me what the A means in basics.
Okay. The A means adopt a healthy lifestyle. And one of the things that we don't do as much as we used to do is we don't cook like we used to. So part of a healthy lifestyle is cooking your foods, cooking healthy foods. And you want to create great recipes or follow great recipes so that it won't be boring and you enjoy your food more than going out to the restaurant and buying restaurant food. So you're creating a healthy lifestyle, and that also includes the exercising and getting plenty of sleep and maybe do something fun that is physical. I tell people when you go out, it doesn't always have to mean that you have to go out to eat. Go out and ride a bike, or go out with a friend and take a walk, or hike.
Yeah.
So there's so many things that you can do. I started swimming at a very late age, and so that for me, that was creating a healthy lifestyle.
You know, and what you're saying is so true because when I'm making a plan to get together with friends, you know, there's never a question, almost never a question in either of our minds.
Where we're going to eat.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. You know, and so why not do something else? Like, why not go hike, or why not, you know, take our kids and walk to the zoo or walk around the zoo? So that's a great insight there.
Exactly. And you can do that with family, and it helps the family to be closer together, and it helps the family there are other ways to enjoy each other.
Okay.
As to simplify your plan. Sometimes we make things too complicated. And I try and tell people I don't believe in diets. I don't believe in a diet plan. I believe in a healthy lifestyle plan. But keep it simple. Don't have something like eating just fruits and vegetables all the time. And I mean raw fruits and vegetables all the time, because you're not going to stick with that. Don't have no carbohydrates in your menus, because you're not going to stick with that. Keep it simple, but keep it realistic. Okay. So that's what the S stands for.
Do you have any thoughts on, you know, for example, my husband and I, you know, try to follow a paleo lifestyle. We started this a couple years ago, and you know, for the most part, we're pretty good. But I will say that I have a sweet tooth. You know, even after I, you know, eliminated the sugars and everything, I still, you know, I see a cupcake and I want it. You know, I like bread. So, you know, when it's hard to maintain. So, but in your mind, are cheat days part of having a healthy lifestyle? What do you think about that?
Yeah. Well, I actually believe in cheat days. I believe that people ought to have days when they do just about everything right, because everybody's human and they're going to fall off the wagon at some point in time. But have the attempt of doing everything correct, and then allow yourself an opportunity where you don't have to be perfect, where you can eat what you would like to eat. By doing that, you'll find that you'll eat sugar less, you'll eat salt less, you'll eat healthier foods more often. You won't be as tempted, because you do know that, well, if I just wait, I'll have cheat days and I don't have to feel guilty about it. Okay. So I do believe in that. I do.
Okay, good. That is really helpful. Okay, excellent. So simplify your plan. And so when you talk about simplifying your plan, does it just relate, Linda, to food, or does it relate to anything else that we're talking about?
It relates to anything, any and everything. And I know I keep going back to the exercise component, but because that is so important along with the food. But a good example is someone might set out to run every day of the week. That's asking a bit much. Keep it simpler. Say maybe 3 or 4 days a week I will go out and run, and then maybe a couple days I will do maybe abs or strengthening to fit in some other types of exercise. But don't push yourself to do something that is not realistic.
Okay.
Yeah, keep it realistic.
Okay. All right, excellent. So that was simplify your plan. So that's the S in basic. So what is I?
I is so important, because we do not invest in ourselves. We will buy a new pair of shoes, we will get our hair done, our nails done, but when it comes to investing in our health, we won't do that. And so I believe that you need to put money into being a healthy individual.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you do that now, you will reap the benefits later. I mean, you'll be a healthy older person later, but you have to invest in yourself now, which means buying healthier foods. You can't go to the restaurants that have the dollar menus and buy those dollar menus.
Yeah.
You have to buy the more expensive fruits and vegetables that are healthier for you.
Okay.
Sometimes it might mean paying for a trainer. You may have to invest in having someone coach you.
Okay.
And all of that costs money, but still it's worth it in the long run.
All right. All right. Excellent. So and when you started out talking about that, I thought you were going to start talking about, investing money in your bank account, because I had a financial planner who told me once, pay yourself first, which, that's a whole different conversation, but,
That's a whole different, yeah.
I like what you have to say about really, I mean, you are your most valuable asset, so why not putting money into making sure that it stays, in the top condition that it can.
That's right. You want to be the best you that you can be.
I've never quite had somebody put that to me that way, which, really it actually helps me because, I do this, I could join a gym for probably $20 a month, but I do some group training and it costs a lot more. And, I have some guilt feelings about it, but I really like it. So thank you for that.
Sure.
All right. So any other ways that people can invest in themselves?
Oh, well, sure. Let's see. Being a part of a group, there's there might be neighborhood exercise classes, or they might be a neighborhood dance group that you have to pay for. I highly recommend you do that.
Okay.
Books, you may have to buy a couple books just to understand healthy lifestyles better, or maybe good recipe books so that you'll try something different. I bought a NutriBullet because I wanted to be able to have my juice vegetables, and I like juice fruits together. People can buy blenders and do the same thing, or they can buy a juicer to do the same thing, so you get the vitamins in your fruits and your vegetables. So there's a lot of different ways that you can invest in yourself.
Okay, all good suggestions. So what's the C for the C in basics?
Cardio.
Okay.
When you get to exercise, people just do not want to do that. They'll start off really strong, and then they kind of fall by the wayside. So it's something you have to do on a regular basis. And find something that you really enjoy. It doesn't have to be what I do, but it could be something that you can really get into. If you're an outdoors person, take advantage of it. It's free, and you can walk, and it doesn't cost you a dime. If you want to be more advanced, of course, then you can do the weight training, or like I say, hire a trainer. Get involved in spinning classes, aerobic classes, salsa dancing. There's just so many things you can do. But find what fits for you and what works within your schedule, and just do it. Just decide you're going to do it. It makes you feel so much better. Those endorphins are released, and they call them the happy hormones. So they make you feel good. You feel good physically, and you feel good mentally and emotionally. So that's what the C it stands for.
So what thoughts, there's some people I know who have problems with motivation. Actually, they want to work out. They want to get to the gym. They really want to. They know it's good for them, but they just can't get there. They even go out and buy a membership, but they don't do it. What are your ideas around that?
But those are the individuals that have to have a partner.
Okay.
They have to have someone who's going to be with them especially when they decide they don't feel like working out or they can find other things to do in place of working out. You have to have someone who's going to tell you the truth, who's going to be there for you when you just do not feel like doing it. Okay, because sometimes it's hard to make yourself do it.
It is.
It's really, really difficult. That's why so many gyms make the money that they make. All these individuals sign up for the gym and then they don't show up.
Yeah.
Or they go for a couple months and then they stop attending.
Yep.
But it's really difficult to not attend when you have somebody who's always going to be there with you.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Awesome. Okay, so now we're up to S.
S, stick with the plan. Whatever the plan is, you have to stick to it. That's when the commitment comes in. And Wendy, it's something that you have to really want, first of all. You have to really want to make a change. You have to want to lose weight. You have to want to have a healthy lifestyle because nobody can make you do it. But once you find a plan that really works for you, hang in there and don't give up. I have that poem in my book about not giving up.
Yeah.
You just cannot give up. You have to stick with it to the end. If you set these goals, you need to keep going until you meet those goals.
Okay. Excellent. So I read in the description of this book that you wrote, and what's the name of the book, Linda?
It is Yes, Real Women Lose Weight, Drop the Pounds Forever with the Basics.
Okay.
I know it's a long title, but
it's good. I mean, it's good because the title says it all, which is what we were talking about.
Yeah.
So, when I read in a description of the book how it takes us back to a simpler existence, and can you talk to us a little bit about the simpler existence that's being referred to here?
Sure. The reason why I wanted to write the book in the first place is because I kind of observed what's happening with America. One is too many individuals are overweight, and the obesity level has increased tremendously. 30% of women are currently overweight. The children, they're almost at the same point. I remember when I was in school, it was really unusual to have more than one fat kid in our school, sometimes two.
Yeah.
But today, it is at least 30% of our population. You think of the children's population, you think out of 100 kids, 30 of those children are overweight.
Oh, wow.
Something is going on, something is not happening, I should say.
Yep.
And so if we can just educate the families of how to be healthier, how to cook, how to spend time in the kitchen with the family, how to take the kids to the grocery store so they can see what foods to buy, and do that on a regular basis, you'll begin to see a change. One other thing that I think we've gotten away from is we don't grow our own foods like we used to. People used to live off the land.
Yeah.
They would grow their own vegetables, and then they would take those vegetables in the house and they would cook those vegetables. I mean, you can't get them any fresher than that.
Right.
As they say, from the garden to the kitchen table.
Yes.
And we need to get back to that as well.
Okay.
A lot of children don't know how to cook. They don't know how to prepare food. You see these commercials, which they really get to me when they show the mac and cheese commercials and the kids are fixing the mac and cheese. Yeah. That is not a meal. That is nowhere near a complete meal.
Yes.
But too many families use that as a meal.
Yes.
So
yes.
I think that whole process of growing your food, preparing your food, sitting down at the table, and enjoying your food together is missing.
Yeah, I agree with it. And I think that a lot of people, at least from what I observe, they're not eating together. They're eating in front of the TV. The kids are playing video games,
right,
for hours and hours at a time instead of getting outside and being active.
Yes.
And then there's so much, really fake food out there, like what you were just describing, just not real whole food.
Exactly. Yeah, they have too much screen time, And it's not just the TV time, it's the video games, it's the computers, it's the iPad, the cell phone. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. And that happens not just throughout the day, but that happens at dinner time.
Yep.
So those things need to be changed.
So, this idea of growing your own food, which I love that idea. And, my parents do that. They live in the country and they have a huge garden and they have chickens and it's awesome. So what about the people who live in Manhattan or in Chicago, downtown,
Yeah,
what
no
do they do?
excuses. There's
No
no
excuses?
excuses. No excuses because they have what they call urban gardens.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's that?
And they can, there's two different types. One is when they actually have the urban garden maybe upstairs, up the top level of the apartment complex. There's gardens. It's amazing if you ever go on the roofs of the apartments in Chicago. And I saw some in Manhattan, believe it or not. But they grow just maybe small pots or small areas, and they have their vegetables up there. So that's one thing. The other thing is there are plots throughout the city, and in the different neighborhoods, they'll have plots that sometimes they'll charge you for it, and sometimes it's free because it's something that they've designed for the community. And you can grow your fruits and vegetables there, and they are sharing them. So it's really a neat thing to see. Really, really neat.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I've never heard of an urban garden, and I haven't seen one, and so that is definitely something that I'm going to have to check out.
Yes.
So, and on top of growing the food, because the food is healthy for you, that is grown in your backyard or in one of these urban gardens, it seems to me that this could really be great together time for a family.
Yes, yes. And that's what I used to love about it. My family, we had breakfast together right before school. We would go through the routine of what everybody's doing, what we have to do for the entire day. Our parents would support us on after-school activities, and we would talk about all of that in the morning. And then when we would come home in the evening, me being the oldest, I would do a lot of the cooking. My mother would work until 6 or 7 in the evening, and those days I would get to cook. The days that she was off, she would do the cooking. But when my dad came home from work, everybody sat down at the table. We all ate dinner together. We talked about what happened throughout the day. And it's interesting because it's something I used to see on television, but our family lived it.
Yeah.
And it's not something that families are used to today, but I believe we need to get back to that. That's really missing.
Yep, I agree with it. I mean, and I had the same experience you did with my family growing up. We all sat down to eat together every meal, well, breakfast and dinner, and lunch when it was summertime.
Yes.
So, and those are some of, on top, it's just, those are some of the best memories, on top of staying in touch with each other and knowing what's happening in everybody's lives. I mean, it's just, I have really great memories of our times as a family.
Yes. That's very, very true. And I would love to see that be the norm versus the exception.
Yes. So I agree. We need to get back to that.
Yeah.
So the Basics Plan is a great plan, Linda. I love it. And, you do work in so many areas, and it's about time to wrap up. But, I want to kind of give our listeners a preview about some of the other areas that you focus on. And I know that one of them is menopause, because people don't talk about it a lot. And do you have any ideas on why they don't?
Well, I do. I have some ideas why they don't. A couple are, I believe that society doesn't accept menopause. They don't celebrate menopause. They are just starting to recognize the baby boomers on television. So menopause, if you are interested in the medication that they provide for you, you'll see something about it. But just to talk about it in general, it's not happening. So I don't see it as being accepted by society. And if it's not accepted by society, then we don't accept it.
Yep.
second thing is, I think when you start identifying yourself as menopausal, all of a sudden that means you're old. Nobody wants to be old.
Right.
No woman wants to be told that she's over the hill.
Yep.
And so if even if she has, say, hot flashes in public, she won't say anything because people will make these sly comments about her.
Yep.
To defend herself. And so it's just better in our minds just not to say anything.
Yep.
You know, I just won't talk about it. But I think we need to get away from that. The more it is accepted and open, the more we will all talk about it and make it normal. And women can be very comfortable with it. They can be comfortable with themselves, but they're not comfortable with it right now.
Yes. So is that what your book is about, the one on menopause?
Well, what I wanted to do is show women how they can live a quality of life during menopause. So I believe you need to understand what it's about, what you're going through, what your body is going through, what your mind is going through, and then what can you do to feel more comfortable or to feel better about yourself. And I don't really believe in hormone replacement therapy, so I figured I need to give you another option. And to me, the option is dealing with it naturally. And naturally could mean the foods that you eat, using herbs, of course, exercising, and just having a really good understanding of what's going on with your body. It may mean drinking more water. There's just so many ways that you can feel better about yourself and feel better physically without the medication.
Okay. So that's great to know. And what is the name of the book, Linda, and where can people find it?
Okay, the book is Yes, Real Women Do Sweat. Straight talk about menopause.
And where can... Go ahead.
The book can be found on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, on my website, and my website is www.savvyhealthcoaching.com. That's savvyhealthcoaching.com.
Okay. Excellent. Okay. Excellent. So I will make sure to put the links to Amazon and Barnes & Noble and to your website in the show notes so people can find you, Linda.
Thank you.
And if people need help, what areas can you help them in specifically?
Okay. I do coaching, and so I can do weight loss coaching because I have a certification in lifestyle and weight management. I do coaching in menopause, anybody who really is going through some changes, life changes, and they want help to go through that process. And I do healthy lifestyle changes coaching. And that's usually individual, necessarily need to lose weight, but they've just fallen off the wagon. They just need to really get their lives together and to be able to help their family get their lives together by eating healthy and living a healthy lifestyle.
Awesome. Okay, so everybody, if you need help in any of those areas or if you know somebody who does, then check out Linda. And really, I really appreciate your time with me today, Linda, and thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome, Wendy. And if they're looking for a speaker, I do presentations. I've been speaking for over 10 years about these areas.
Perfect. Perfect. And you can find all that information, too, on Linda's website. So that's going to do it for this episode of the Family Law Insider Podcast. Remember, we're on your side when it matters most, and I'll see you next time.